And we're here with Leonard Hoops, the president and CEO of Visit Indy. Full disclosure, my son and his wife and family live right outside of Indianapolis, so I'm a big Indianapolis fan to start. Leonard, great to see you
Mike.
Here at IMEX 2017. And I have to say, every time I go to Indianapolis, it's booming, it's exploding, and even from a meetings and conventions perspective, MPI is going to be there next year, so fill us in a little bit on all the exciting things that are going on in Indianapolis.
Well, you know, we're most known obviously for being the home of the Indy 500, and I like to tell people that the winner of the Indy 500 has to make 800 left turns to win the race, and that there's a surprise around every one of those turns in Indy. Starting with probably the biggest surprise, which is USA Today in 2014 named Indianapolis the #1 convention city in America, and people were like, well, how is that possible? And it's about the connectivity. We've got 12 hotels connected by skywalks to the convention center. We've got the #1 ranked airport by Airport Council International. It's 15 minutes from downtown. You put all those things together, and the whole downtown's been designed for the last 40 years to do exactly this, to host conventions and big sporting events and things like that.
Well, I think you really hit on an important point. In a sense, Indianapolis is a well-kept secret, and the fact is, a lot of people, the average person, you would say, Indianapolis, they wouldn't realize all those things that you just mentioned. Great airlift, as you said, easy to get into the city. Great convention center, everything's right there.
Yeah, well, the airlift just improved. We just got a nonstop to Paris on Delta, which begins next May, and it's going to be 7 days a week during the summer months, and a little less often than that during the rest of the year, but a daily through the summer to Paris is pretty incredible. I joke to people all the time that Indy and Paris are more alike than people think, that the biggest difference between the two is they have a 2,000-year head start on us, but they're both flat cities with rivers that run through them, and there's no oceans or mountains. But Paris is a place that built itself through culture and you know, perfected the croissant and collected some art along the way. But Indy's been doing the same thing very specifically in the convention sporting event and getting more so on the tourism side the last couple of years. But we're very excited about that Paris flight a lot.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that people don't realize is you've become a culinary place. I mean, a lot of great chefs have come into Indianapolis. Sorry.
Yeah, well, Zagat named us one of the top food destinations of 2016, and Condé Nast calls Indianapolis the most underrated food city in America. And one of the things we kick ourselves about today than we compared to, say, 20, 30 years ago is we were farm to table before farm to table was a term, and we didn't think of it. We needed to. I mean, you can go to Indy and there are farms in Indy city limits proper. So you want to talk about sourcing locally and winding up in these restaurants. That's what happens in Indy, and finally people are starting to catch on to that.
So what's the main message here at IMEX that you hope meeting professionals are walking away with, Leonard?
Well, you know, again, it's a big surprise when they find out we're USA Today's #1 convention city. Every time that comes up in a conversation, they want to know more, and then we show them the map and the connectivity, and they start to understand that, because they do know it's for the race. But there are some wonderful things you can do at the track as well. A lot of groups that are talking to us want to figure out how to do a special event, or even maybe a closing evening event, that sort of thing, or a board special event. You can do things in the pagoda, the famous pagoda at the track. You can do what we call hot laps. You can get folks out for 2 or 3 laps at 130 miles an hour in a Chevy Impala. You can even get folks into a 2-seater Indy car at 180, 185 miles an hour for a couple of laps for the real VIPs, and you want to do these sorts of things. So the Indy Motor Speedway is absolutely part of the package, but that downtown package with a 250-acre urban park, all the restaurants, the convention center, the connectivity is amazing.